In the aftermath of the NBA draft, there are so many stories that we need to cover, so we're going to try to break everything down that we can today on the board. Let's get right into it. Tons of action in the NBA draft that we want to discuss today. We'll get to as much as we can in our allocated time here. But if you do enjoy what we have for today, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the board channels for more content just like this. But first of all, we got to open up. We're going to talk about your Houston Rockets. We'll talk about my Toronto Raptors. But I think the story of the day was probably the Washington Wizards. First of all, before we even had the draft, they had another trade pulled off. They are cleaning house, and they made a move to get Jordan Poole off of the Golden State Warriors. It was Jordan Poole along with a first and a second just for Chris Paul. Wow, this was crazy to see. Let's bring in Pips NBA. Pips, what were your initial thoughts on this trade? Who do you think won?
Yeah, I think obviously Wizards won from my side. I'm not a huge fan of Jordan Poole, but this is a great gamble for them. They're just starting out and they can give him a chance. He was great in season 3, and then after a Diamond Green punch his face, he was poor, a bit poor in the season in the last season. He had some good stints, some terrible stints. Wasn't playable in the playoffs, but taking a shot here, I don't see any problems. The crazy thing is that Golden State Warriors needed to include picks to offload Jordan Poole after they gave him that huge contract.
One year,
Only
1 year after that
one year
contract.
after. Yeah, that's crazy. But I think I kind of like it for the Wizards because they have perfect squad to let Jordan Poole cook, get 25 points a game average or even higher on this roster, and see what they can. He's still 24. He just turned 24 4 days ago, so I kind of like this gamble gamble from the Wizards. Low risk, high reward situation.
Yeah, I mean, Poole's on a long contract with the money that's probably a bit too much for him, but Chris Paul was a player that almost got waived, and they ended up getting draft capital and a gamble of a young player out of it. Jordan Poole is going to have full license to do whatever he wants here. So it'll be interesting to see maybe under the right coaching if he can kind of fix up. So yeah, this is an absolute home run play for the Washington Wizards. Amazing trade here. From the Warriors side of it, a little bit embarrassing. 1 year after the mega extension for Jordan Poole, you had to use draft capital to get off that. The Chris Paul fit, not sure this was worth it, but it'd be interesting because, okay, this is somebody's now going to run your second unit. I understand it from that perspective, but I don't know. I just don't really see why they wanted to give up so much to make this trade happen. Haven't really seen the buzz online, but I was told that people thought this was a win for the Warriors. I don't know. We just don't have the understanding of who Chris Paul is today, but this was pretty confusing to me to see the
Yeah.
Warriors make this trade. So we'll see how Jordan Poole does and if this turns out to be a win for the Warriors. But let's talk about the Wizards and another trade. This was a big one during the draft. So I had Bilal Coulibaly 12th in my mock draft, and I remember you thought he was too high, and we were texting about him like, okay, Utah could take him at 9. Like, don't be surprised if he goes 9. Well, he goes 7. He goes 7. The Wizards trade up from the 8 to the 7 to get Bilal Coulibaly. Pacers trade down to 8 and get a bit of draft capital and take Jarris Walker, who they wanted anyways. I feel bad for the people who bet Jarris Walker 7th overall because you were technically right. You were right. The Pacers wanted Walker 7th. It's just they actually moved the trades. They moved the pick one spot back, so you lose your bet. Same happened with Derek Lively at 10. But I'm trying to figure this one out because the Pacers move back one spot. The Wizards move up to get Coulibaly. First of all, Coulibaly going 7th was shocking, but there must have been another team that was in the mix to trade for that 7th overall pick. What do you think went on behind the scenes to cause this transaction?
I honestly don't understand this at all because, as we know, Pacers wanted and got what they wanted, Jarvis Walker. If they traded with another team, they will fall out position to get him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why would the Wizards do this? Like you, and Pacers didn't want below, and you are next on the board. Like you just wait and get your player.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it was hella confusing for me. If they were like ninth and then trying to go move two spots,
which is
yeah,
what OKC did, but
yeah.
that
But
one made sense.
moving one spot, while you know Indiana Pacers won't pick him because if they wanted to pick him, they won't trade him. So yeah, I'm confused. I don't think that was necessary at all.
It must have been there was something on the table for the Pacers to trade out of that position. Maybe it was like just guessing. Maybe it
But
was OKC. That's the
yeah,
type of player they'd want, and
yeah, but
Pacers were content to
who-
fall back to 12.
it's weird for me. Like I think seven is a reach, and teams will give better offer to the Pacers for Bilal. Like how high are teams on him to? Yeah, it's confusing for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess evidently Koulibaly was excellent in the combine, however much he played a part. His performances in the playoffs with the Mets 92 must have just blown teams away, and any workout must have been really, really impressive because, like, again, not only do we feel like this was a little bit of a reach, like not crazy reach, but a little bit of a reach for me, somebody else was trying to trade into it, or else this trade doesn't make sense. So that was a very interesting one. But let's switch over now to the Houston Rockets. We're both going to call them the winners of the draft here. Fourth overall pick, they get Amin Thompson. I think that's how you say it now.
Yeah,
Amin Thompson goes fourth overall. And not only do they Amin Thompson, but a consensus top 5 pick from 2 days ago ends up falling to 20th overall in Cam Whitmore. And the Rockets were the team that finally ended his slide down there. You must be feeling amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I was like from the. I think like when you guys at a 13 pick didn't choose him, I was like, okay, just started praying for him to just fall one another third. And Stone said like they were trying to trade to 16 to get him, to 17 to get him, but teams weren't going to choose him, so he just stayed away, and he falls in our lap at 20. It's crazy. And to people saying not even there were not even medical reasons. It was like his mentality or interviews for like that kind of talent. Like, and also Stone said he had a great interview with Houston Rockets and good workout. So that's crazy to me. Like they were considering him at four, like not really buying into him, buying going at four, but there was some consideration a couple of weeks ago for him to go four, and now we got him at 20. Like we got two top five players, unbelievable, unbelievable. And to add on Jabari Smith, on Jalen Green, on Alperen Şengün, Terry Eason,
Yeah.
great
Oh
time to be
yeah.
a Houston Rockets fan.
Big
Great
win
time.
there for the
Also,
Rockets.
they are all super athletic, and it will be so fun to watch.
Yes. And a good coach finally. So things finally on the up for the Rockets. Yeah. Watching this all unfold for Cam Whitmore, I get it. I guess I'm trying to figure this out. I suppose he just assumed he'd be going really high in the draft, and maybe he tanked his interviews with the teams that weren't like in the top 5, 6, 7, 8. But even still, I mean, the talent was clearly there. That wasn't a question. Just every pick that went down, I guess teams were just maybe it got to a point where teams were like, okay, is there something wrong that we don't know? Let's just stay with the guy that we like already and not worry about it.
Also, if his ego was huge, this will settle him down. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I was wrong. Let's now work out and be better.
Yeah.
So
The
even if it
mentality
was
now is
something,
going to be
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah.
You
So
would assume.
I love this, love this. I hope my Rockets won't fucked up in the free, like they have 60 millions and won't sign some crazy stupid players like Dylan Brooks and ruin the team chemistry and make some moves that don't make sense. But I believe in our front office. They did
Yeah.
some good moves last 2 3 seasons, so let's hope they can still.
So let's talk about my Toronto Raptors now. My favorite prospect, if you listen to yesterday's video, you watched yesterday's video, I like Cason Wallace the best. And we were talking about it as if like, okay, he might actually go behind. You showed me a mock where he was 18th. His over under was 14 and a half. And then I think it went down to 12 and a half, but the over was getting bet very heavily. And he ends up going 10th overall. So it looks like the Orlando Magic wanted him at 11, and the Oklahoma City Thunder trade up from 12 to leapfrog the Magic and take him at 10. The Mavericks, great piece of business, unbelievable piece of business. They get the guy they wanted anyways, and they get off the Bertans contract, which is horrible. Excellent, excellent move by the Dallas Mavericks. Finally, a good move by that organization. But because Cason Wallace is gone, Raptors have the opportunity to go with Buffkin or Grady Dick or Whitmore, and they decide to go with Grady Dick. And I cover the draft extensively on all my platforms. And Grady Dick was the highest on my draft board at the time, at the 13th overall pick, who was available. Grady Dick was the highest on my draft board. So I'm very, very happy with this pick. The Raptors add in a shooter, and he's a lot more than just a shooter. Good at putting the ball on the floor, good at creation off of the catch, one dribble, and just a smart player overall. What did you think of this one?
Yeah, I think you need to thank Orlando Magic for passing on him and choosing Jet Howard.
Yeah.
In yeah, because we all knew Lively will go to the Mavericks.
Yeah.
So when they choose Jet, I think you know that Dick is coming to the.
I had a suspicion at the time that they would have gone for Kobe Buffkin as well, which I would have been very happy with also.
Yeah,
but
I love Hawks, and he's going to the Hawks, and that's kind
good
of great.
pick.
Yeah, good pick.
Yeah, sure. The Jet Howard one was Jet Howard was supposed to go like, oh my goodness. I wouldn't have projected him to go any earlier than 18.
I actually made a bit of talking point about Orlando Magic. I think their picks make sense, but I think both are each in by quite some. I think Black from my side is like 8 to 10 pick, and Howard is 15 to 20. So they got good players. I like them and good fit. I don't see fit with Black actually because
I really like Anthony Black, so I don't mind that.
Yeah, I like him, but I like Banchero is playing on the ball a lot. Franz Wagner is playing on ball a lot. So you have non-shooter that's playing on the ball a lot. So also Banchero is non-shooter. Franz is decent, but not on high volume. So they like shooting, but they got Howard, and Wendell Carter can shoot threes. So yeah, could make sense. But yeah, I think they are both a reach. I like both players, but not at 6 and 11. If they were like 9 and 15, awesome. But this is a bit reach. I think they had some better players on the available.
Other surprising picks that I saw here, Jaime Jaquez Jr. going to the Heat at 18 was crazy. He is an excellent college player, doesn't project extraordinarily well at the NBA, but he was supposed to go late first, early second, and he goes at 18. So I don't know how much you know about him, but Miami must see something they really like.
Yeah, but it's like if you can describe a Miami Heat player, it's probably him. Like
I guess, but this was still surprising to me.
Yeah, it's a bit early, but I don't think their Miami approach to draft is we like this player.
Yeah,
that like it seems like that. So they had so many good undrafted guys picks. So I think they know what they are.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
I like that guy. He's huge hustler, and he's cool guy. So we'll see what gets. Yeah,
maybe he'll fit the Heat culture. That's maybe what they were looking for.
I'll say Brandon Podziemski. I know good substitute for Jordan Poole. I think. Yeah, and they said they had him on the draft board like almost top 10. They had some. They said Yeah, they said they had him way, like 10 places over the 19th spot. I think
Eh,
that's the thing they said.
yeah, I don't know if any team higher than the Warriors would have taken him. I think that's probably around the earliest I could have pictured him going, but
Yeah, but they
they're high on
said
him.
when
They're
they
high on him.
asked why didn't they take Whitmore, they said Pozinski was the projected way higher than 19, and they just took the best player on the board.
Yeah, I mean they
That
like their guy, they got their guy. Like I
it makes
can't
sense. He
dispute
is
that.
one of the best. If you look at the stats, he's one of the best guys in the entire draft. Like his numbers are actually crazy. Like he shot 44% from the three, scored 20 points, 4 assists, high steals. Like if you look at the data, he looks like perfect fit for the Golden State Warriors.
Some other steals that you wanted to highlight here. Bryce Sensabaugh going 28th. Like a few months ago, he was a projected top, I think he was a projected lottery pick, maybe even top 10.
Yeah,
So at 28, nice gamble there by the Jazz for somebody who maybe fell a little bit.
I think people are looking a lot on the injuries and past injuries and just letting guys go way under
Mhm.
because of the injuries and injury concerns, and that's okay. But if you are over 20 pick, I think you can gamble on high potential if they can stay healthy, and just did. And I think that's a great spot, especially for them. They are going to rebuild, and yeah, I love this spot. I think he's, if healthy, of course, he's lottery pick.
And some other ones here. A couple that I'll highlight. Rayon Rupert to the Blazers at 43. Super big, lengthy, raw player, but trending upwards shooting wise, trending upwards as a ball handler, trending upwards as a defender. I thought he was going to be a late first round pick. Great spot for the Blazers to get him at 43. Leonard Miller going 33rd. I thought that was extremely surprising. I thought he was going to go in the early 20s, even maybe getting into the teens. I even had a slight suspicion the Raptors would want him at 13. I don't think that was out of the question at all if they didn't get the names that they wanted down there. So great move by the Timberwolves to nab him there at 33rd. A couple other ones you wanted to highlight here. Kobe Jones to the Kings. Max Lewis also fell a little bit too far. He went 40th to the Lakers. I thought he was a late first. Jordan Walls to the Celtics.
Yeah,
Another one.
Jordan
And
Wall,
yeah, you
like
want to highlight
that
that?
guy, if he can make decent shooting, he'll be crazy good, especially for the Celtics and their kind of defense, switch or everything. He just his wingspan is crazy. He's
Uh,
just huge.
Another big steal. Trace Jackson Davis went 57th overall and he went to the reportedly traded to the Warriors. I thought Trace Jackson Davis, so he was Jalen Hood-Schifino's pick and roll partner at Indiana. So he's a very, very good pick and roll player. I can't believe he ended up at 57th overall. And I
Yeah.
think he's going to, if he does go to the Warriors, I like that fit quite a bit. I don't know if he'll get playtime out of the gate, but somebody who works extremely well in the pick and roll, plays above the rim. I think getting him at
Also,
57 was a good pick over there.
what do you think about Sissoko at Spurs? Are they just getting another French guy for Wemby or what's but I mean, I love him. I think he should be late first round. I had him at close to late first round,
You
but
know, I
another
don't
French
I
guy.
don't hate ever when teams gamble on elite athleticism and you try to figure out the basketball stuff along the way. And the Spurs have time for that gamble and to develop, so I like that a lot. I like
I
that one a
think
lot.
with Keldon being improved 3 point shooter, Vassell being great 3 point shooter, when Benyama can shoot outside, gambling on a non-shooter, crazy athletic guy, great defender, wing at in the second round. Yeah, that's great. Great
Yeah,
move for the
yeah.
Spurs.
And
And
I
they
think
are. I just want to say, like, if you take a look at their recent picks at late first round and early second round, they had John Tamari, Derek White, so many great guys
oh,
in
they know
that
how to
range.
draft.
Yeah, so I think they are great. And
Yeah.
also, just one thing I want to mention, like we didn't talk about at all, like Miller going second and School going third, and just an interesting fact. So Hornets choose Adam Morrison over Brandon Roy. Then they choose Kid Gilchrist over Bradley Beal. Then they choose Frank Kaminsky over Devin Booker. And then they choose Malik Monk over Donovan Mitchell. And I think this could be the same thing over again. Also, when they got it right and got Lamelo Ball, they were trying to trade up for James Wiseman. So they were booing. Everyone was booing. If you saw the crowd when they picked Brandon Miller, like whole crowd was ultra frustrated and were booing the pick
Really,
of
I
Brandon.
wasn't listening. Because I was doing the streams. I wasn't listening that well.
I saw so
Uh,
many clips on the Twitter where they're just completely nuts and they picked Brandon Miller over Scoot Henderson.
wow. Well, Brandon Miller, I still think he's a good player. I just prefer Scoot Henderson. So time will tell who is the winner of that one. We didn't even get to Scoot Henderson possibly being traded. Damian Lillard has no interest really in playing with Scoot Henderson, it seems like. I don't know what's going to go on there.
It's difficult. Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, Sharp, and Damon
Yeah.
Lillard.
Yeah.
Yeah, one needs to go. And if you look, all four, only one doesn't make sense with all other three, and that's Damian Lillard. And they can get. I think they should have went before the draft and got some good capital because this draft was crazy talented, so many good spots, and they could
Yeah.
get
This was
a
deep.
wing or they could get Jarvis Walker or something like that, and don't resign Jeremy Grant and have ultra fun starting lineup, like something like that. Like
Yeah.
for example,
I just think the organization doesn't want to be the ones to say we want to trade him, and Dame doesn't want to be the one that runs away from the grind and says he wants to trade. So I think they're just playing chicken right now until one of them commits. But I mean, they have to trade somebody. Like you just can't have all these guys together. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So
yeah.
I think we've covered everything we've needed to for this one. We've run quite a while here, but if you did enjoy, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Rate and view 5 stars as well if you're listening in podcast form. Me and Pips will be back very soon for some more NBA content on the Board channels. Thanks again, everybody.